Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the New Normal podcast. I'm Chantelle. Lee is my boyfriend, and we're going to shoot the shit a little bit. Well, kind of. I don't know. So, what's going on?
What's going on with you?
my jaw is in pain. Okay. Listen, I didn't listen to my dentist. He said to me a few years ago, okay, you have to get your wisdom tooth extracted. I'm like, oh yeah, great. Like, okay, let's not do it right now. So I have foregone that option for the last however many years. And now my jaw, my wisdom tooth are impacted. I'm talking funny. It's, anyways, nobody cares except for me because I'm in pain. So there's a lesson to be learned here, my 16 subscribers. Thank you very much. Is when shit hits the fan, in this case, when your wisdom tooth get impacted, take that shit out and don't have to go through what I'm going through right now. So
How
that's what I'm
many
going through.
how many teeth are impacted?
There's one main one on the left bottom, and it was so embarrassing this morning because for some people who don't know, everyone doesn't know, I work from home, and my boss calls me, and I am sleeping because I am in pain. So I wake up and I'm like, hi. And then he knows that I just woke up. So he is like, what's going on today? And I'm like, great. So I'm just going to be honest. And I told him that I have a major headache because of my teeth. Anyways, he's super nice about it, which I'm so proud. Like, not so proud. I'm so grateful to have such
Are
cool
you
boss.
gonna take all four out?
Um, I don't know. I don't think I should now because my dentist is like, we'll do one side first and then we'll do the other side next time. So if my experience with the left side, the one that's in pain right now, if it goes really bad, I don't know if I want to go through that again the second time on the right side. So
The the impact is bad or the extraction process is bad?
the impact is that right now, the extraction process, I don't know what it's going to be like. I've
Yeah, but
always
I'm
had,
saying like if you extract the left side out and then you're good, the right side has no problem. Are you gonna proceed and extract the right side too?
yeah, I don't know yet. I have to mull over that
Mm,
decision first. So, you took out all four, right? Of your
yeah,
wisdom teeth at the same
yeah,
time?
yeah.
How was that
Well,
like?
I don't remember if it's all in one session or two, but I took all of them out though, like in one
Um,
decision.
so yeah, so you made one decision because you're not scared and I'm a scaredy cat. That's what you're trying to highlight?
No, it just
You're
my
so
dent.
nice. No.
No, no. So my dentist told me that if your wisdom teeth don't cause you problem today, they eventually will. So if you're gonna do an operation, might as well take all four out. Otherwise, the more times you do it, the more chances of complications you're gonna have.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards after.
Also, like instead of getting like needle in your gums four times, you just need to get it one time and then get all four out.
Yeah, which I thought that was my angle, right? So I was talking to the receptionist and she was like, oh no, the doctor actually, would prefer doing one side first. And I'm like, okay, fine. Anyways.
Yeah, now I think about it, I think I did it in two sessions because they
Mhm.
numb like one side first and they extract them out so that you can chew on the other side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then one when one side recovers, they do the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like it didn't help that I watched YouTube videos that had people go through their like whole thing and the whole surgery. I think Americans take this like we live in North America, but we're Canadian. And I think
A?
Americans, huh?
A?
Yeah, eh? And so like I think Americans take this whole extraction thing to the next level. And I've been just watching those type of extractions. Like they do the whole thing. And I'm not like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go under. I want to be awake the whole time. It's just, I don't know.
Did
Well, we'll see
you
what happens. I probably have a story after it happens.
did
We'll
you fall
see.
into the YouTube rabbit hole?
I love YouTube for this stuff because you get like everyone's experience, and everyone's experience is different, but it's good and it's bad in a certain way.
I
It's
don't
kind of like
know.
us doing this podcast. It's like people don't know about us and like what we're going to talk about, like, but then you get, it's like that experience that you don't get to to go through other than meeting up with a friend or actually being friends with someone, you know, like it's cool insight.
I don't know which video I watched that triggered the algorithm, but the algorithm recommended me a guy shaving a horse. What do you call it? Like
Wow.
hooves?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Wait,
watched
is
that.
it an ASMR version?
I don't know, but does it keep shaving and then the horse has like a pimple thing on the bottom and it pops.
Ew.
And yeah, I was watching that for like 20 minutes. I don't even know what I was watching, but that's what YouTube
Wow.
does. It's
I
crazy.
wonder how many views that got though, like 3 million.
Oh, way more than that.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's cool that people can just put stuff up like that and not even talk and then have views.
Yeah. I also YouTube recommended videos of like Iceland people, how they do their laundry or
Yeah,
something. There's like girls wearing fur coats and they go outside and but it's all ice. They have to break the
yeah,
ice to a little hole and to do laundry and take showers and stuff.
that's cool.
For them, it's like regular life, but for us,
I
we're so
know, right?
fascinated.
Yeah, that's what I noticed actually. So, funny story. This is so funny that you're talking about this right now because my cousin sent me this like TikTok thing. Okay. It's this guy from China, Beijing, okay, Beijing in particular. And so this guy is half Chinese and he's half like white, Caucasian. I don't know. He didn't specify what kind of white he is. Um, and like for people out there, there are different kind of whites. Like there's, I don't know. I just think like there's European people, there's Americans, there's like whatever. Anyways, that's besides the point. So there was a video of him, and he speaks in Beijingese, basically like the like. Anyways,
But
so
that's just Mandarin with an accent.
okay, that's Mandarin with a Beijing accent. You're right. In
Yeah.
particular.
Yeah, because there are actually different languages in China.
Yeah, which is also super cool because they also did this thing which is like in the village type of language. But so the whole point of this is that so he's a halfer, right? And then in the video he's speaking in Mandarin, and then he like calls other people into the video, and it's black guys. And I'm just like, whoa, like these black guys know how to speak Mandarin, and they speak very good Mandarin. And so I was very surprised. And then they said that in the comments thing, someone's like, oh, black people speaking Mandarin, like, woohoo, like being sarcastic about it. But I just think that's super cool because, like, you keep saying, like, there's so much racism with other people just entering a different country. It doesn't matter where. It could be China, it could be fucking Italy, you know, whatever. Oh, I just swore. We need to beep that out.
No, no, we don't have an editor.
Oh shit. Okay. Anyways, whatever. This is just real raw. This is how it is, okay? And so I just think it's so cool that they reveal that these guys were born in China, so they're Chinese. And it's the fact that they grew up in this culture, the culture that you grew up in, is just blows my mind because this wouldn't even be a thing if internet wasn't involved, you know? Like people wouldn't have known. This is
What's
like so different.
crazier is a channel I watched recently ran into is a white girl
Yeah.
who went to China when she had her first son. She was probably like
Whoa.
30 years old or something, and then she learned Mandarin from there. And it's from an area that's close to my hometown. And when I hear her speak, she has a very thick accent. that's like from my hometown.
Yeah,
And
you showed that to me.
yeah, also she started developing all of these I don't know what you call it, tics, habits
Yeah.
from the like the same habits as the people who are from my hometown. As an
Yeah.
example, she talked about she went to China and she had to go to the bathhouse for the first time.
I
And
still think that's a like seriously weird concept because I didn't grow up with that.
yeah,
Like
that's
to
what
me, that is the community center, like swimming pool. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's what she said too. She was like, it's so weird because I never seen this in the US.
Yeah.
Um, and then but now she loves it. She's like, every time I go to China, I gotta go there. It's like feels so good. And she's like, before I thought, oh, I gotta get naked, going to the bathhouse. I had
Okay,
to
okay. So what is a bathhouse though for people who don't know? Because you had to explain this to me for like 30 minutes because I was like, what? Like this is a thing? I just sound so ignorant because I need to go travel the world somehow. So
well, it's essentially the same as the shower in the gym. Like you know how you go to fitness, what do you call it? Fitness 24 hours or something?
yeah, the
Yeah.
fitness center.
Yeah. And you go, do you have a shower in the locker room?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
is.
it's kind of like that, but way bigger in scale. And then there's actually a bathtub that can take maybe like 50 people or something. But then there's
A
like,
bathtub. So everyone
mm,
bathes together.
yeah, but you don't, unless you're nasty, otherwise
Damn.
you don't really try to clean. You just sit in there kind of as a sauna.
Okay,
It's
so
like
but you're
extremely hot
naked?
water in there. And then on the wall, there are separate like shower heads. And then after you take the bath, like as this like kind of sauna thing, and you go over to the shower heads and then you clean yourself. And then there are people who like rub you down
So you
to
pay
clean the
for
dirt,
people to
not
rub you down.
huh?
That just sounded so wrong, but so you pay for people to like rub you down.
um, it depends. Like,
It's free?
well, when you go in, they charge you a ticket.
Oh, okay.
So it depends on how they structure it. Some places might charge you a very expensive ticket, but everything is included, and some other place might charge you separately. It depends because there are very high-end bathhouses where they might charge
Wow.
you like $200-300 for the ticket just to go in. But then you go in, you have sauna, you have shower, you have bath, you have drinks, you have, all these things. You have
This is so
TV.
interesting to me. Yeah. So
Yes,
it's like a spa, but then not really a spa. And then,
yeah, I guess more elaborate version of a spa, but a little more ghetto because the reason why they have those is because back in the day, Chinese people couldn't really afford showers in their own homes, and also
well,
more,
like only in the village, no? Or like the city too?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and all more specific to my hometown is like it's extremely cold. It's close to Russia, so it has a similar weather. So then people like to gather together and take a very hot bath, and people there drink hard liquor too to warm themselves up.
wow.
It's kind of like we're basically Russians, the
Yeah,
Chinese
you're
version of
Chinese.
Russians.
Yeah, you're Chinese Russian. I said
Yeah.
this to you before too, though. I was like, you remind me of Habib Nurmagomedov. Remember, I told you. For those of you who watch the UFC, you'll know who Habib is. He's now
If you don't,
retired.
you should.
Yeah, if you don't, you should. He's now retired. He's someone that I miss watching in the UFC world, but he's in the background. So, anyways,
Well, his quote unquote little brother is fighting, so you can watch him. They're very similar.
okay, well, then we'll have to look into that. Our
Yeah.
Saturday UFC nights.
Yeah. Anyways, go back to my point real quick.
Yeah.
Is that when I watch this white girl talking about doing things that are very specific to my hometown, and then she says she enjoys it, she enjoys eating barbecue skewers, eating dumplings, eating hot pot, and going to
Yeah.
bathhouse and things like that. And especially in my hometown accent, that made me
Oh yeah,
realize.
I learned about that too. The different accents. It's actually really cool.
Yeah, that made me realize no matter where you're from, what color your skin is, what your race is, we're all the same people. The only different, the thing that makes us different, act differently, and all these things is the environment, the upbringing, and the culture. It's not really the people. People in of themselves are actually, we're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I started like realizing that too, especially watching those TikTok videos. And I'm like,
And then,
what? It's like the only difference is like appearance, but who cares?
and a milder version of that is for people who don't understand Mandarin, they can't experience that. But if you just see, if you're from North America and you see a black guy talk in a UK accent, or I see a Chinese girl talk in a Scottish accent, that
That's
makes you,
crazy. I want to see that.
yeah, that makes you realize too. It's like, oh, we're the same people. You just, the only difference is where we grew up from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, do you think actually you've been to Beijing? And I didn't even like I didn't realize that it was an international part of China, similarly to Shanghai or like Hong Kong even. I know Hong Kong is and China are like different but the same. Anyways, let's not get into semantics, but
Beijing is the capital of China. So it has the most international, like everything.
mm,
The
so you
meetings are
experienced all
there, the
that.
main government is there. And you know how like in US people say, oh, this decision comes from Washington. What
Yeah.
they mean is American government.
Yeah.
In China, they say the decision comes from Beijing. What they
Whoa.
mean is the Chinese government because that's the capital.
Yeah.
It's like the White House is in Washington, and I don't know what the equivalent is in China, but I guess Tiananmen Square.
I don't even know where that is.
You don't know what that is? Oh my God.
No.
Come across highly ignorant.
I know. That's why I'm fully accepting that if anyone were to watch this, they're like, this girl doesn't know shit about anything, like especially China, and you're dating a Chinese guy from China.
How about we
Anyways,
talk
whatever,
about
I've
your,
accepted it.
how about we
Huh?
talk about your ethnicity a little bit? How did you become this ignorant?
Whoa, that's not fair. I feel like because I feel like I grew up in like half, well, like mainly Asian community. Like I went to elementary school, half the people in my school were either like some sort of Chinese, mainly from Hong Kong, like Cantonese speaking people, and then the other half were like brown. And not just any brown, because there's different types of browns, okay? They're Punjabi brown. Okay, so like I'm more familiar with the Hong Kong Cantonese people and Punjabi people. Okay, so hopefully I don't come across as purely ignorant. Like I kind of
Okay,
know my stuff.
what's the
I
capital of India then?
don't know, New Delhi.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, I actually really don't know. Um, so anyways, that's my extent of like, well, no, that's not exactly true either, but like, yeah, I grew up in a mainly Asian community,
If
Asian,
you have
South
to
Asian
describe
community.
yourself, not in blood, but in like your thinking and your culture, just in yourself, not your family, what percentages would you say is like Canadian? What percentage Filipino? What percentage Indian? What percentage what?
That is so tough. Like that is, you're really putting me on the spot because I am, and that's why I get confused. And that's why I feel like I am a fraud sometimes when it comes to like my background. Because so my
Just like
parents are
Elizabeth
Filipino.
Holmes.
Sorry?
Just like Elizabeth Holmes.
No, fuck no. Let's get
Whoa.
that straight. Okay? Sorry, I am so offended by that. Okay, for those of you who don't know Elizabeth Holmes, maybe just look her up, okay? She's a whole character. I I really am not a fan of her. Like her whole thing, her whole like, I just want to be like Steve Jobs. Like it's kind of creepy. Just watch her and then you'll know what I mean. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. But so can you not?
Where?
Okay, so my parents are from the Philippines. They immigrated here to Canada, and I'm born here. So my nationality is that I'm Canadian. I didn't go through the whole citizenship thing, but my blood is Filipino. And like a lot of Spanish is in there because my grandpa is part Spanish on my dad's side. Anyways, whatever. Your question, which am I more, like Canadian or like Filipino? I think I'm like half half because a lot of my values and things like that is of Philippine culture, and I think I was more traditional before, and I've only ever like started opening my mind to different ways of thinking or and all of that. And also like I grew up Catholic, so that's like another big thing in my life where I'm like that is very like Filipino. It's like in the culture kind of too, like a lot of Filipinos are Catholic and grew up Catholic, not saying all, because there are Muslims who are Filipino, there are other Christianity that's Filipino and all of this
Do
stuff.
you
So
read?
huh,
Do you read?
on
Are you
religion?
no? Are you able to read Filipino, whatever you call the written languages?
Tagalog.
Tagalog. Do you read Tagalog?
I don't normally read Tagalog, no, but if there was a newspaper in front of me, I can generally get the idea of what they're trying to get across. I can also understand Tagalog, maybe not super deep, but like if I'm watching Filipino TV, I can understand. And the weird thing is I know the dialect. So
But
I
this
understand
is
it.
how I judge how well versed you are in a culture. Is
Why?
if you go to a Philippine specific website or like for example in China there's a different thing as YouTube is there's like Chinese version of YouTube, and if you can
Okay.
read the Chinese version of YouTube's comment section and understand their jokes, then you're like 100% into their culture.
Jeez. Okay, then in that
Because
case.
how I realized that is that after coming over to North America and start being online all the time, now I understand their reference what the jokes are in the comments, but I understand that if anybody, it doesn't matter how perfect of English they know, they wouldn't understand what that means because they're not immersed in the culture. And
Hmm.
I also understand the Chinese comment section jokes, but it's getting like I'm understanding less and less of it because I'm not immersed in that culture as much.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that. And so like okay, so this is what I mean, right? So national language in the Philippines is Tagalog, so everyone knows how to speak that, but also most people know how to speak English too, like a little bit, right? But the weird thing is because I know how to speak the dialect, and I think I'm fairly fluent in the dialect, and the dialect is Ilocano. And I even have like a little bit of an accent too because I kind of speak it like that. Like I speak to my grandparents in Ilocano. So, anyways, I think I'm half half
But
Canadian, huh?
when they make Ilocano specific jokes, like insider jokes, do you get it? Do you get all of it?
Unfortunately, I do get it. And I think it's funny. That's why I'm like, if it's similar to you, if someone has a joke and they understand they're laughing, I'm like, damn, you're full, like, you're really Ilocano. Like, we get each other. Like, it's a different level, you know? And so I think I just vibe with people who speak the same language as me too. Do you hear
Hmm.
that? Sorry, the front door is like someone's ringing the doorbell really frantically. I think it's my brother coming home. But please disregard if you can hear it.
Future guest.
Mm,
No.
my brother is another interesting person.
Okay.
Yeah, so and then Canadian wise, just to finish this question off, I think I'm like not as Canadian as I can be, again because I grew up in like a Filipino mainly household and had more Asian friends, because Canadians like to be outdoorsy and do all this adventurous stuff mainly. I don't do any of that. Like I haven't even been to the mountains. Like I have, but I haven't skied or snowboard. I don't hike. I appreciate the ocean view, but I'm not
You
in the ocean, you know, like
you
so
don't eat
that's it.
protein, you don't drink Tim Hortons.
Oh, okay. In that sense, I'm fully Canadian. I am a big Tim Hortons person, steep tea.
No, no, don't lie. Don't lie. You're
No,
you're
in that
American, you
sense,
drink
I love
Starbucks.
poutine. Huh?
You're American, you drink Starbucks.
No, that's not. Well, I
You
like
drink you drink
Starbucks.
Starbucks, you wear Nikes, and you eat McDonald's, you
Okay,
eat
but like,
filet o
okay,
fish,
so what's another Canadian thing though?
Lululemon,
I'm a big Lululemon person. That's all I wear.
Aritzia,
People probably think that I only wear one pair of pants, but I have 10 different ones. What's that? What's the other one?
Aritzia.
Aritzia. I'm big
But
into Aritzia now. I used to not be, but yes.
just to touch
One
on
third of my
the
closet is
people
Aritzia.
think you only wear the same pants, but you don't. People think I only wear the same jacket, but I
But
do.
you do.
But
I can attest to that. I'm your girlfriend. I know what's in your wardrobe.
that's
So
about
if
to
you really
change
want to
though.
go there, I will oust you.
That's about to change though.
Yes, we got some background things. There's something in the works. Hopefully,
Uh,
it'll come soon.
Some merch coming up.
Whoa, you can't drop it like that.
Oh, why?
No, so you're gonna have to edit that post.
Nah,
Okay.
nah, nah. There's no
It
edit. It's
is
an authentic
7:42
podcast.
p.m. right now. Please timestamp.
Anyways, let's move on.
Anyways.
So what else happened?
So we were talking about like how much am I Canadian and Filipino, but like for you, what was it like then growing up half in China and then half here now, basically? Because like you came here when you were what, 16, 17,
17.
17, we're like almost, I don't know if you want to say our age.
Almost
Actually, I kind of want people to guess, but okay,
almost 30.
almost 30.
Yeah.
So that's a significant amount of your life. Like, what was that like growing up here then? What's the culture shock? Like, what was it like?
When I first came to Canada,
Yeah.
was this a big relief
Why?
because our application process took like 5 years,
Wow.
and from maybe 3 years before it got approved, I already started making life decisions, assuming that it was gonna pass, but then it keeps on getting delayed. So then if it didn't pass, I was screwed. So I stopped going to school. I learned like English specifically for the last 2-3 years just to prepare to coming over. And if I didn't get approved, I couldn't come, then
Then it's
I
over
wouldn't
for
know.
you, buddy.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do. I never
Yeah.
graduated in middle school in China. The difference is grade 1 to 6 is one school, and then grade 7 to 9 is a separate school called middle school. It's different than here. Here is 1 to 9, or 1 to 12 actually is all in the same one, right?
No, so there's like elementary school from K to 7, and
Mhm.
then there's high school 8 to 12. And then in some places they do have middle school, which I didn't even know about. I like this is something new that I learned.
Oh yeah, then the main difference is here is 8 to 12, and in China is two separate schools. You go 8, 9, 10, and then you go to separate school. And to no, you go to 9. Wait, no, you go grade 1 to 6, you go to separate school for 7, 8, 9, and then you go to another separate school for 10, 11, 12. And then you graduate 3 times instead of elementary school, you graduate, and then high school is you graduate elementary school, middle school, then high school.
Oh,
And
wow.
the crazy part about that is I never graduated middle school in China, and I came over to Canada to go to straight to grade 10, and then never graduated high school from here. But
Wow, you really want people to know that.
Yeah, but I did graduate university,
Yeah, that's the
which
main thing.
yeah, which is pretty crazy because I didn't know this was even a possibility.
Hmm.
What while I was in high school, you know how you every year talk to a counselor or
Yeah, an educational advisor.
yeah, an advisor. They kept telling me, oh, you got to take all these courses to get credits. You got to volunteer for these many hours and all these things to go to university. And then as it turns out, they were all wrong. They didn't even know that you could actually go to university without all of those things. So they were
Yeah,
giving
which is
me bad
why I'm so
advice.
surprised. Well, no, well, I don't know because I that's how
Hmm.
I'm so surprised that you were able to go to university without, your diploma, like your
Yeah, that because those advisors don't know what they're talking about. So nobody, the people they advise don't know. So like people like you
yeah.
don't even know.
Or maybe
I,
they just want you to go through the education system the way that everyone else did, you know? Like there's no
no,
way you
no,
can
no, no, no,
survive.
no, no, no.
Well, no,
They were
maybe
kicking me
that's
out. They kicked me out. That's how I didn't finish.
oh,
They,
okay.
they,
Well,
they
like
didn't
that's
want me
different
to
because you
go
said
through it.
well, that's different because you said 17, right? Like once you hit 18, you need to go to adult school.
The limit is supposed to be 19 because in Canada you become an adult when you hit 19. But when
Mm,
I was 18, they told me they're gonna kick me out. I was like, why? I'm not even 19. And they were like, because your birthday falls in the range of the next semester, is that within the next
mm,
semester. So you
yeah.
would turn 19 before the school ends, so we can't keep you for another year. It
Okay.
doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I've talked to those advisors for like hours and hours. I've never gotten any value out of it. They're like, there's nothing they've said had value except for one sentence, but they said it unintentionally. And I recently realized how deep that was,
Which is
which is when they were talking about going to university, having to apply for majors. They were just listing out all the majors. They were like, biology and tourism and all these things. I was just like, tourism, that sounds useless.
mm,
And their reply was, no, it's not useless. It's irrelevant.
okay.
Yeah, when they said that, I think that just came out. Like they weren't even thinking about it. But recently, I remember there are only a few things I remember from high school because I wasn't paying attention. But that's but
Okay.
that's one of the things I remember. And recently, I think back at it, I was like, oh, that's like actually deep because
Yeah.
it kind of implying different people have different mindset, perspective, situation. Something useless to you could be very useful to another person. And this you can also see in business, in negotiations, in a lot of things. Also on the internet, like a lot of people post content, YouTubers, and they say, I don't think anybody would watch me. I'm too weird. And then they end up blowing up and they're like, oh, I guess there's an audience for, you know, like every type of content
Yeah. There's a
because
niche.
yeah. And another thing I remember from high school is when I there was a game room type of thing, but you have to make a membership to borrow, like there's a pool table, there's a ping pong table, but you had to take your membership card to go over to the desk and then borrow the balls out to
Okay.
play pool or ping pong, and then when you return it, they give you back your card.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a one time I went to them and then tried to borrow the pool table equipment, and it was a older white lady. She was on the heavier side too.
Was she was
Yeah.
she a Karen?
Yes. And I said, can I take out the pool equipment? And she said, but what's the magic word? And I just came over to Canada like in 2 years. I don't know what she's referring to at all. And she
Yeah.
stood there, wait for me to say it, and I don't know what it was. At the end, she said, "It's please," and she waited for me to say it, then gave it to me.
Yeah, that's full on Karen move. We
In the
love that.
moment, I didn't pay much attention, but recently, now I think back, I think that was pretty messed up. I feel violated.
Whoa, violated is a strong word. We can't be throwing words like that around in 2022, you know?
It's abuse of power.
Whoa, okay.
If your policy is you need to become a member to borrow your equipment, I became a member. I was fully qualified based on your policy. Who are you to tell me that I'm not qualified to borrow because of your personal preference for whichever words I use?
In North America, we use the magic words please and thank you.
No, North America is the immigrant countries. You should be accepting of other cultures.
You're coming from a principles point of view, like hardcore, like it doesn't mean because you have this authority that you can, you know, control people because this is what you want.
Yeah, it's like I'm the customer, and then you as the company, you say, in order to get this, you need to pay this, you need to go here, you need to pick it up from here. But then as an employee in the middle, you refuse to follow your company policy and you don't give me the product because of your personal preference. Like if it would be like if you went to McDonald's, you ordered fries and they say, okay, it's $2. You pay them $2. And then at the end, they're like, oh, but you gotta come out of your car, spin around 3 times, otherwise I won't give it to you. You'll be like, what the
Yeah.
hell? Like I pay for my fries, it's mine. Like give it
Okay,
to me.
okay. So having said that, okay, because I worked in customer service right before. And okay, right. Okay. So this is actually really relevant to this conversation because I want to hear your thoughts on what you think of this now. So I used to work customer service and I would have a rude customer. Okay. They would come to the desk, they would tap their fingers on the counter, they would tell me what they want because that's my job, right? Like if the customer wants something, I'm going to serve their needs. Basically, I'm going to meet their needs with whatever services the company provides. In this case, I'll just say it's a widget. I'm not going to specify what the product or service is, but this customer comes up, they're extremely rude. Okay, they're on their phone, they're tapping their fingers on the desk, they demand the service or product or widget, whatever it is, and without giving me any regard as a human being. Okay, and so I tell them, okay, like I'm still being polite, still, still delivering the highest customer service that I could provide to the customer. And they basically treat me like shit. Okay. And then they pay and they throw their credit card to me. And basically, they want me because they're on their phone, they're busy, whatever, to tap their card for them, which I don't even know if I could do as, I'm not the holder of the card. But that's besides the point. Should I allow them to purchase widgets, products, or services from me with the attitude that they're giving me?
Yes.
But why? Because in the services industry, um, I could always like turn away a customer that's being totally an asshole to me, like being totally rude, like not even treating me as a human being. Like why should I even service someone like that?
Because you cannot deny someone's service because you don't like their attitude. Like
Okay.
just like how a police cannot give someone a ticket because they have a bad attitude. Just like how you cannot convict a criminal based on their bad attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Which, okay, so
it's-
being again in the service industry or customer service, whatever, I learned to navigate around that and not be as affected by these types of people. And which is why I keep saying, is it a cultural thing? Is it a communication thing? Because in certain industries, for example, lawyers, although you lawyer every day, lawyers, okay, in particular, I'm sorry if you're a lawyer and you're not an asshole, but lawyers are assholes. Okay. And so I hope that no, like if I come across any lawyers one day and they confront me about this, I am fully taking full responsibility for this statement. But like, okay, they're just not the greatest people sometimes. Owners of businesses, okay, they're just like a different kind of asshole too. Like I learned to navigate through these types of people, and that's why I say, like, I understand where you're coming from. I understand the principle that is behind that, because at the end of the day, the customer is always right. You know, you want to keep their business and you want to continue providing the services to these people, but is there a need to be that way? It can't just be a civil interaction. Whereas in your case, with that Karen from that school or that like recreation part of the school, like it could have just been a straight exchange where you are just like, I want this because, you know, you're going to use it recreationally for your lunch or whatever, and you're going to bring it back anyways, and you qualify for the membership, everything that she requires for you to make the exchange, right? And
but it's not even her requirement, it's the school's requirements.
okay, the school's
She
requirement.
could have been replaced by a computer or a robot. She didn't add any value. She didn't have um like she couldn't request her thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she was just in the middle, like coordinating the transaction.
Yeah. So it's kind of like my situation. If I were to say like, oh, listen, like I don't like the way you're treating me as someone who's trying to help you, and then they're giving me a hard time. And if I turn them away and say, hey, listen, like maybe you'd want to come back when we could have a civil conversation because you're yet like if someone was yelling at me because I'm not providing them the service and they have all the requirements to make the exchange. And all I needed was a simple, like, a proper conversation to get the transaction through and to make sure they understand what policies need to be in place, blah, blah, blah. Because there's a lot of misunderstanding that goes through purchasing something and not having the ability to do a refund on a purchase. So it's more for their benefit than it is mine. So if someone was giving me a truly hard time, I would refuse the service to them. And you're like, no, you can't do that because they're paying for it, they're paying you for this. Well, kind of like yes and no, you
Well,
know, like
there's a
all that needs to happen is for a civil exchange.
well,
And
there's
so
a
in this
difference though.
case, huh,
There's a difference though.
what's the
Like,
difference?
for example, if you sell online products, all you accept is credit card, but they insist on paying cash and they throw cash at your face, then they're not qualified. But then if they gave you their credit card and they go through the whole process, why couldn't you help them to process it? Like if like in your situation, you were saying he was being rude, he doesn't give you the information you needed, all of these things, then he didn't check the qualification box. But if he has given you everything you needed, let me ask you a different question then. Let's say we post our YouTube videos. Every video, there's a one guy, the same guy keeps on talking shit, right? Commenting and saying like just negative comments on every video. And when he goes to your website to buy your merch, you recognize his name. Would you refuse to sell it to him?
No, of course not.
Yeah, he went on website just like everybody else. He paid just like everybody else. He commented just like how everybody else could comment too. The difference is he comments something you don't like. It has nothing to do with anything.
Okay, so let's say this person goes on your, website and then purchases your merch or whatever it is for malicious intent, and they post a photo or a video or something destroying the merch that they've purchased just to show like, oh, this is a shitty brand or whatever. Like, I know that in the fashion industry this has been done to signify, how retail is not good, or high fashion turns over so fast and it creates a lot of waste. But they did it for a malicious intent. Like, I know in the retail one it's like a little different, but they made it in a way that puts down your brand. Should they be able to purchase more?
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't
So
matter.
if somebody goes to a gun store, purchased the gun, and he went out and shot a bunch of random people, which is something he shouldn't have done, but should you ban everybody from buying a gun?
No, but I will ban the person who would purchase a gun and shoot people. I feel like this took a really dark turn after purchasing the gun. Like, I don't know if I want to talk about shit like this. That's like,
Yeah, but
no.
how strong I believe in it. I believe if someone like bought a gun and they shot somebody, I believe still every person still has a right to buy a gun.
Yeah, obviously
You know?
that's fair, because I know that there are people who purchases guns for the right reasons. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know how I feel so much about this gun thing. I just know that people use it for hunting. I respect that. I'm a big carnivore myself. So I don't want people to stop buying this equipment, these supplies, because I want a steady flow of beef, pork, meat. Like, I really enjoy a carnivorous cuisine. Let me just put that out there for those of you who want to send any gift cards to restaurants, steakhouses. I'm fine with that. But yeah, it's just the whole, like, I don't know, maybe because of this whole like gun thing issue that, a lot of people die for no reason because it's in the wrong hands.
Yeah, but the whole point is you cannot deny service to someone. You cannot refuse to sell. If you own a gun store, you cannot deny selling guns to a white guy, let's say, because the last white guy bought a gun, shot a bunch of people. But then even this is grounded in reason at least. But if you say you refuse to sell the gun to somebody because they wouldn't say thank you or please or whatever slang you feel like they should be saying, that has nothing to do with anything.
Do you think manners matter? Like, is because in North America, like, I keep saying North America, but like, we have manners, like manners matter. When a kid is growing up, you say please, say thank you, like, does it matter to you? Is it in your value system to say these words?
Depends. Because of that incident, that tainted the whole meaning of police to me, and I really don't really say it. I
Yeah, I
say
know
thank
you
you.
don't say
Yeah, I say thank you, but I don't really say please, because
it.
every time I say please, I feel like, like bowing down to people who want me to live my life their way. Otherwise, they threaten to cut off my way of living.
Jeez, that's some traumatic experience. I feel like just hearing that, like, I will not say it because of like, have you looked inwardly to overcome that kind of feeling when you hear the word please? I still say it to you. I still say, like, Lee, can you please pass me like,
But
you're
I have
fine with
never,
that.
but I have never denied you a ask because you didn't say please.
That's true too, actually. But like, okay, so that's why I keep saying, is it a cultural thing? Because to you before, like if you were to say to me, like, pass that, I'd be like, whoa, like that's so rude. And you're like, what's rude about it? I'm just telling you or asking you to pass, whatever the rice. I don't know, like,
But that's also a separate thing too.
is it?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a like we are in a personal relationship. There's no right or
A
wrong. There's
romantic relationship. Everyone can have a personal relationship. I know
yeah,
you
really.
personally.
Yeah, but you're not servicing me. I'm not servicing you. You know, it's like there's a difference between if you were a nurse or a doctor, you refuse to treat me because I'm your boyfriend, I'm just asking you to treat me at home, versus I go to hospital, they deny me the service. They're like, no, we're not gonna operate on you, even though you're dying because you didn't say thank you to us.
Yeah, well, that's fucked up. If you put it in that, you know, scenario,
Exactly. This is
it's
the
the
same
same
thing.
thing. I know. I understand.
If I got shot, let's say, for example, and I go to hospital because I'm in pain, I'm cursing everyone out. I'm like, fuck, shit hurts so bad. Fuck, like treat me already. Fuck, you know, that shouldn't stop the doctor from saving my life.
But that's what I mean by it's an empathy thing.
It's
Like
not.
if
It's the doctor's job to save people's
yeah,
lives,
okay.
regardless what they say. It's the
But
game
also
room's lady's job to give people the equipment when they are given the membership card, regardless what they say.
yeah.
It's not a job where she should use her own judgment. It's,
Well, for that case, I really feel like that's like unnecessary, especially if she can't read that, like, okay, like this kid just wants to do an exchange, like what's it to me, like she has no responsibility or like no, like it's not part of her job to like teach you, okay, you need to say please and thank you, like
but the ironic part of that is by trying to teach me to be nice, she was being an asshole about it.
hmm,
You know, it's you work in the gym before. In the gym, they all have their little membership card. Some people
yeah,
say hi to the desk and then they scan, they go in. Some people wear their hoodie, they keep their head on, they say nothing, they just scan, they go in, they lift their weights.
yeah,
You
that's fair,
you treat all of them the same way because all of
yeah.
them have paid, they registered, they didn't do anything violate your policy. You gotta let them all lift weights.
So funny enough, like I used to take that personally when someone like doesn't say hi to me, because I feel like most of the people in the gym are old and they say hi to me. They come in at 5 a.m. on the dot, like they have nothing better to do. I'm glad they go to the gym though. But yeah,
That
some
that
people,
that's perfectly fine. But you need to
yeah,
separate, like for me, let's say if I worked at a gym and then they were rude to me, I would be like, this person is a rude person. Personally, I wouldn't like him. If he approached me in my private life, I wouldn't want to be friends with him. But right now, I'm a fitness employee. If he requests any fitness service, he's qualified. I'm gonna give it to him.
yeah. So I think that that's fair. And from my customer service experience that I mentioned earlier, that's why I say that I learned to navigate through people like that and all types of people. And I have empathy towards the asshole lawyers and like business people who just want to get to the point. Like there's just, it's so different. There's some people who want to chat all day for every little thing through the transaction. That's fine and that's what we're used to. Okay, please, thank you. It takes 10 times longer to get through, customers like that. But there are also customers who are quote assholes or busy, have better things going on in their life and have to multitask, and they just want to go to the counter, ask for their things, like get it done, like have 3 words during the whole interaction, And I feel like in your scenario or your situation that you went through, you are the second person where like, I just want to go to the counter. I have everything I need. I want to do the exchange. What's it to you for everything else that's extra? And like, it's just a communication method. It's just a, but where it becomes like, I'm also like, I totally disagree is when she denies the service because of, oh, you didn't say please or thank you, or it's kind of like a customer service person saying you have to wipe the counter before you leave. Like, no, that is, you don't have to do that. Like, I do that, it's my counter, it's the service that I'm providing, type of thing. So I get it.
Yeah, just like if you had kids and you rather your kids to be polite on a personal level, you could try to teach them to be nice, but you cannot deny them food because they wouldn't ask you nicely. You cannot starve your kid because they don't say please. That's
Yeah, there, I know parents though who have taken that approach. If you don't say please, you're not gonna get it. Like, whoa. I don't know. I just think that's a little extreme in the wrong ways. I think there are different ways to go about, teaching kids. Um,
well, that's like I said, that's abusive of power. You,
yeah.
as a parent, you have the power of buying food. The kids don't, and you abuse that power. Get them to do whatever you want. Otherwise, you wouldn't give them the food. I think they're gonna remember that, and then when the parents get old, they're gonna return the favor.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've seen that too, unfortunately, because it's something that the kid holds and they something that they remember. Like, oh, just wait until you can get.
Yeah, when the parents get old, they can't walk outside. They need the kids to help them to buy food. Now the kids are gonna ask them to do all types of unreasonable things to their satisfaction before they would buy food for their parents.
Yeah.
Like I don't think, especially in a country like North American country, like Canada or America, nobody should sacrifice their beliefs and ethics and principles to have basic service, to have basic needs met. That's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, just this conversation has got a little bit heated there, even for me. um, I think it's a good time to wrap this one up.
That's how it
Uh,
is, raw and authentic.
yeah, I think like more and more we're on here, especially for me, I am more comfortable in just having an honest discussion. And that's what I want for myself, anyways. And from our relationship, not that this is a relationship based podcast, it's more like we just happen to be in a relationship, and have a discussion. So, um, anything else that we could add?
No,
Yeah, I think we've exhausted this one a little bit. So, having said that, what do we say? Don't be normal, be yourself. I'll see you at work. Is that
bye
what we say?
bye.